Deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, bro. Come on. And as the big man Ian Wright said there, people, Deluded, I'm back again. With it being City versus Arsenal, I had to get Jordan back on the channel because I really respect his opinions. How you doing, my guy, man?
I'm good, my bro. What you said? You got?
I'm good, man. I'm
You ready?
I'm nervous. I'm excited. I'm everything, bro. Hopefully, we're still smiling, come Sunday, but I don't know, man. And that's why I've got you on the platform, as I said, man. Let's kick it off there. Like, what's your immediate feelings before we talk about the game and Pep and Arteta? How are you feeling going into the game and everything that Arsenal have done to this point?
I'm excited 100%. There's no nerves. There's no anxiety. I can't wait. I can't wait, DG. I can't wait. And that's not me putting on a front. That's not me like gassing myself up to try and get. I'm genuinely excited. I've been excited about this game for a while now, but one thing I've been conscious of is to get to this game in these positions. What I mean by that is on Forever Arsenal, I think after we had our awful Christmas, some of the boys were doing the whole we need to get to the City game within this points of City and whatever. I'm doing the accumulations and we need to win 9 out of 10. And I said, no, forget that. We just got to beat Palace. We've just got to beat West Ham. We've just got to beat Burnley. We just got to beat one game. And it sounds boring. I don't normally draw for that mantra. But at that point, for me, we were out the race. So it's not about looking at City and Liverpool. It's about, can we just game by game get ourselves back in contention? Because at that point, we can't be looking 2 months ahead to the City game.
You need to deal with what you need to deal with.
Win the next game. Okay, win the next game. So we've done that. We've done that now. So now we're at the City game. I'm like, we've done the work. We've done the hard work to put ourselves back in the title race. So I'm excited. I'm also excited because I don't know about you, but for the first time, and this could be fatal words here, I'm touching wood, but for the first time, DG, in, at least 7 or 8 years, at least 7 years, I'm not going into this game thinking this could be a beatdown. Like, we could lose, but I don't think we'll get slapped down. I don't think it'll be a 4-1. Now, look, hit me up on Monday morning, and boy, if it's a 5-0 beatdown, boy, it's a problem.
You might have to deactivate, man.
Bro, I'm missing for the rest of the season. But I don't feel like we're going to this game and it's a question of keep the score down kind of thing. Previous years, it's been like, boy, we can get out there with 2-0. Them kind of lose the talk, you know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas this time, I'm genuinely excited because I don't expect to get beat down, but more than that, I can see a viable route to a win, not like a smash and grab. I think we can win. We could lose. We'll get to the chit chat in a second. We could lose this game. Let's not disrespect City and get deluded. Excuse the pun. But we could lose this game. But I'm going into thinking, but we can also win, and that's not hope talk. That's because we've done the work to make me believe. Yeah, we're ready. Last year we went there. I'm doing the most talking now, but last year,
man, this is why you're here, man. I'm enjoying the thoughts, man.
It was just last year we went to the Etihad, and I forget if we were just behind them or just ahead of them. I think we're just ahead of them.
I think we was we not top? I can't remember, man. I've kind of erased out my memory.
I think we're just ahead of them. We went there, and we had a decent season, but I feel like, and this was demonstrated by the players on the pitch, I don't think any of us ever really felt like we were ready. It was like let's see what we can do. But and as we saw, it was men v boys. We weren't ready. We had a good season. Yep. There's levels to this.
We weren't ready for that, yeah.
We weren't ready, DG. But this time it feels like, no. We're not going there like this is City. Oh, Pep. It's not a sightseeing thing this time. It's like, no. We're coming here for the bag. We're coming here for the bag, and we're going to get out. Yeah, man, we're going to get in, handle business, and get out. We're going to let you guys know there's a new Don in town. That's what it feels like. Now, look, we'll see if that plays out on the day, because all well and good talking previews and all that. But when it comes to the moment where the pressure's on top and it's wave after wave after wave, you're 3-0 down in 20 minutes. But I feel like this time we've got players that have experience, that have talent, that have knowledge and know-how, and of the pain of last year to harness to learn. And this time, you know what? No. We're not a little man no more. You can't little brother us anymore. No. We're here as your equals. And that's why I'm excited.
I mean, I share a lot of your sentiment. I still think in the back of my mind, you know, it's Pep Guardiola, it's Manchester City. You're going to have that respect and that sort of nervousness. But we've beaten them twice. As you said, I do think the mentality's changed. And crucially, because when you mentioned that point about like, it's like we didn't truly believe in ourselves last year. I think we've kind of eradicated ourselves from it. I think we truly believe like, yeah, City could be better than us. They've done what we'd love to do. But we're in the room for a reason now. There's no more kind of, how do I put it, like imposter syndrome. So I hope we learn. You mentioned something there about a viable route to winning. What do you mean by that for those that might not understand?
Well, I just meant in terms of, I think we've got the tools this time to win, at not just nick a little point in the last minute and hang on. You know what I mean? No. I think we've got the tools to win. I think we've got a manager that is getting better year on year. A manager that is learning from his mistakes, learning lessons from mistakes. There's still some errors in his management that I think he needs to work on. But I think year on year, I'm seeing, oh, he's doing that now, but last year he wasn't doing that. Okay, he's learning. I think we've got the personnel this year to win at City. I think we've got the experience of last year and the pain of how last year ended to learn from, which I think will hold us in good stead. I don't think City are quite as good as they were last year. Now, look, I'm not going to fall for the trap of saying City are over. City are done. No. No one's saying that.
Yeah.
No one's saying that.
I agree 100% with what you're saying.
City will still punch you up straight like they'll remind you quick time. You know what I mean? That's not. We're not going to do that. But if I'm to say, would I rather play that City team or this City team? It's this City team. I think our form going into this game is better than last year.
Definitely.
I've just heard the news that Walker and Stones apparently.
You think he's playing mind games with that stuff?
Well, you know what? This is what I said. But I've got to watch it after I finish recording with you. But I think Pep, it was one of those like, their doubts, they may not make it. I think, and I've got to watch it. I think he said they will not play on the weekend. Now,
this guy, man.
To do it, you're not having it, are you?
I don't trust this guy. Someone's got to be there, man. I don't trust this guy.
I thought it was the whole England thing. I thought everyone was playing the game. So Saka pulled out injured. Saka weren't injured.
Yeah, no, he could have played if it was that deep.
Of course, Arteta was doing what I said the week before he should do.
What we should have been doing for years, man.
Sorry?
What we should have been doing for years, man, pulling out of the pointless friendlies.
And I reckon there was a deal done with England that was Southgate. I don't know this for sure. This is my speculation. I think a deal was done where it's like, well, Arteta was like, give me one. Saka or Rice, just give me one. You have one. You can't have them both.
Facts.
Like, give me one. I got a big game, bro. Help me out here, G.
Facts. And it definitely had to be Saka.
Yeah. So he's like, give me Saka back, but I've got to keep Rice for the 2 games. All right, we'll compromise.
Cool, we'll work with that.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So Facts. I thought the whole thing was nonsense too. And someone put a video up, and it might be a coincidence, DG, but they put a video up that stated Walker and Stones both came off within the first 10 minutes of both games. Now that might be a coincidence.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily believe in coincidences, man. This is what I think is mind games tonight.
There you go. So my thing was, they're better playing on the weekend. They're all playing. Arsenal players and they're all playing.
Everyone's back.
Yeah, but if what I'm led to believe are the quotes that Pepper said today, it's looking like they genuinely both might be out because there was but you know what? Regardless of that, I don't think Walker this year is as good as he was last year. Do you know what I mean? And even if they do both play, they won't be match fit. They won't be like
they won't have 90 minutes.
So but I think we have to even prepare our minds for them to be at their best. And in a really perverse way, I want them at their best. I want them at their best. I want them to I want it to be a game where we beat the best, beat the best possible City. So when I say we've got a route to win, I mean all those elements. They're not as good as last year, but still very good. We're better than we were last year. We've got that triangle. People have been talking about the front three over the last 10 games, DG, and Saka's been ripping it up, you know. Martinelli's had some really good games, and Odegaard has come back to the player we saw last year. But for me, the triangle that really, and Havertz, if you kind of make it a square, if you like, but the triangle that really I think has been key, and this is my mantra, defenses win leagues. It's the Saliba, Gabriel, and Rice. That's a triangle that I think It's been the backbone of our last whatever 10 games since Christmas, and that's the triangle that I think, if we're going to win the league, will be the more important element.
They won't
The
get the
front three,
headlines, but
obviously,
yeah.
you need goals. You need goals, right? But for me, if we're going to win this title, that triangle has to be fit and has to be on form. Look, for people talk about the 5 against Burnley, the 5 against Palace, 6 against West Ham. Who else to be beat down?
West Ham, Burnley,
But,
Palace,
but
Forest. There's quite
there
a
was
few
somebody.
teams, man, losing
There was a
count
few other
now.
few teams. Oh, Sheffield United.
Yeah. How can I forget?
Sheffield United, right?
Sheffield
We chat
United.
about all those big wins with big score lines. I think I'm right. So across all those games, 2 conceded.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So people chat about the goals scored.
You're bang on the money with this.
People ain't chat about the goals. We've not letting that many goals, and more than that, DG. How many goal chances do we concede? So teams aren't even getting chances to score goals. So
this helps with
I
the confidence, as you said earlier, as well, going into the
man. And City's a different animal, of course. But I just think all these things make me think, you know what? It's looking good. It's looking good. But again, I'll caveat it with this is Man City. And Man City will be looking to remind man, hey,
we beat it. Like, does Pep really
European
want to
winners
lose
for a
twice
reason.
against us in the league? That's scary, man. 3 times on the spin.
I'm a European winners for a reason. Like, don't try come in for you can just
We've made history here.
Yeah, it's not that kind of party, B. So they'll be up for it. But I think we've got to go there saying, no, it is that kind of party. It is that kind of party.
I'm with you. It's put up or shut up there, man. Where do you think the game's won and lost then? Like, obviously, we're not tacticians and things, but many people point to Foden and Saka. You said it indirectly with Declan Rice. Obviously, the midfield battle. You've got the big boy Haaland against our centre halves. Where's it won and lost for you, if anything?
You know what? It's one of those games where I tend to always kind of like migrate to midfield because I think the midfield for most big games is where they won and lost. And if you look at where we're strong in midfield right about now with Rice, Odegaard, and well, either Jorginho or if he puts Havertz back in there, which I'll come to in a second, I hope he doesn't. So I tend to kind of flag the midfield area, and that's where they're strongest as well. I know Haaland's the best striker in the world and all that, but I think their best weapon or their best area of strength is in midfield. If he's fit, De Bruyne, Rodri, and Silva or Foden, that midfield is incredible. That's a lot of ball retention. That's a lot of
ridiculous.
And there's not a lot of speed there, but there's a lot of speed in ball movement.
Speed in thought as well. Kill you in 2 parts.
Intelligence. Do you know what I mean? But what I will say is, I think actually the I won't say the midfield for once. I think defensively and offensively. So I think defensively, if we can keep our heads, and if we can have a good shape and really make them work for chances, because a really big thing for Arsenal, and this has been my frustration this first half of this season, parts of last season, and even going back historically, even the latter days of Wenger, that frustrated me is how easy we give goals away. We give away so many cheap goals.
It's like, brain fast more time.
Team's gonna score. Make them work for it. Make them do a Ross in the top corner. Make them
where you can just hold your hands up and say, you know what, brilliant.
Fair play.
Yeah,
we give away so many cheap goals, and at cheap times. I'm talking the 42nd, 43rd, 45th minute.
I'm with you with this.
You know what I mean? Or the 3rd minute of the game, like those kind of periods where get through the first 10 minutes, or on the 40th minute, I don't care what the score is. No more goals. Getting at halftime 0-0 or 1-up,
manage
whatever the score may be. So for me, the defense is really, really important for me. We're going there this year, unlike last year we went with Holding. There's a chasm between Holding and Saliba.
We've come a long way there, man.
You know what I mean? We're going there with that triangle. Best defense in the league with the best defensive midfielder, or best 6 in the league. But the other area at the top of the pitch is crucial too, because City won't give us a lot of chances, DG. We won't get a lot of chances.
Have many at the Emirates.
Exactly. So for me, and this is where I go back to Havertz, I would start Havertz up top. Same. Now, I know a lot of people aren't his biggest fans, and I've been very critical of his finishing. I think the Liverpool game in the Cup, where he missed a hat-trick of chances, but actually played quite well.
That's like the weirdest one,
sitters. There were actually 3 sitters. Like there was 2 sitters and 1 half chance to have scored. So I get that he's not clinical in front of goal. And people might be thinking, well, why would you want a guy that's not clinical to play in a game where you won't get many chances?
Because the other things he gives you, man.
That's my point. He causes havoc. His movement off the ball is absolutely insane. And people say,
"Oh, midfield as well.
65 mil for good movement." No, it's not as reductive as that. That sort of stuff enables other people
exactly
their damage,
and the ones that are more likely to make the difference.
Exactly. So, and also, you know, if you look at his career historically, he's a big game player. He's a big.
He does quite well in March. We're in March,
and we're in March too. So for me, and I think not having a striker to mark, I think will cause them problems. So I think up top is going to be key, in the sense that we won't get a lot of chances, but the few that we get, we have to take. And then my final bit, I know you said one position, but I'm covering the whole.
Man, listen, you're making the content.
I want
you to know your thoughts, bro.
But you're right to ask like where I think. But I think on this game, I think all facets need to be 10 out of 10. And the final part is in goal. I think we need a big game from David Raya because again, he will be tested. He will be tested.
He will suffer. They will.
Man. And I think I know that he saved us in the Porto penalty shootout with 2 brilliant saves. And they were great saves. I still don't feel like there's been. I think statistically he's the best keeper in the league. I think I'm right in saying that.
Yeah.
I still don't feel like, and this is a bit of a crazy phrase, but I think you'll know what I mean. I don't think he's won us a game yet. I don't feel like
apart from the Porto game, I don't think he's got us out of trouble and whatnot. But could I throw a question back at you and be devil's advocate then? Because obviously you mentioned it, and I agree. You know, we've improved defensively. Obviously, you watch Arsenal on the front foot a lot more. So could you argue it's a bit harsh of people to say that about Raya because he's not going to be called into action? And when we used to see Leno making a whole leap of saves, obviously Ramsdale was part of the team that transitioned into being decent defensively. So while I agree with you, like being devil's advocate, is that a bit harsh on Raya then?
What, that he's not won us a game yet?
Yeah, because he's not had to be called into action and have them crazy games.
No, you're totally right, and that's why the stats around him being the best keeper in the league are slightly skewed because he's not had much to do.
Yeah. He's on his iPhone in the games, man.
Yeah, but equally he's part of that defense as well, so he should get credit for those clean sheets as well. Even if he's not making saves every 2 seconds, he's part of that defense. So fair is fair. I mean, it may be a little bit harsh, DG, but I think in this game he will be tested, and I need to 100%. See in this game him make a save that you think that's got us a point, or that's kept the lead for us.
Out of jail there.
In the same way Ramsdale did at Anfield last year, in the same way that Ramsdale did at 3-point Lane last year, at the same time Ramsdale did
that Leeds away as well. To be fair,
Leeds, you know what I mean? There were games where you're like,
trouble sometimes,
right? You're like, if that save doesn't get made, we lose that game. Do you know what I mean? So I've not had a game from David Raya like that yet. And if there's one game to do that, it's Sunday, where we're like, wow, because there will be a period where, especially if we're up, we will be under the cosh. And we need our defense to be strong. We need our midfielders to control the ball. We need our strikers to give an outlet for when we're under pressure. But we also need our goalkeeper to make 1 or 2 insane saves and keep his head. Do you know what I mean? So, and I think it's a game where this is a game where I think Arteta will be judged on his decision to go with Raya over Ramsdale, because I know there's a lot of difference in both of their abilities. And I think Ramsdale actually has made a lot more match-winning saves than Raya has so far. But I think these are the games where I think Arteta feels the temperament of David Raya might be more beneficial. So what you might be losing in, how did he keep that one out? He's gaining in a keeper that he knows will be able to keep his cool in the most frenetic of circumstances. So I think this is a game where I'm not looking just for your actual ability, saving the ball and your distribution to shine. I'm looking to see if you can keep your head in a time when, it'll be very easy to lose it.
I think you're bang on, man. And I draw parallels with, obviously City, I think they've won, 12 of the last 13 against us. They've had our number. But in the last couple of games, it's been a lot closer. It's been fine margins where it's been mistakes, like you said, or whatever. So I am intrigued because I look back to the Emirates. Like, let's be honest, it wasn't the greatest of watches. It was like a chess match. Both teams cancelled each other out. And I think, you know, on the topic of Raya, I think Raya's long ball to Havertz, who came off the bench, kind of led to our goal. So I wanted to ask you, how much does it come down to substitutions? Because our subs have stayed there a lot of the time. Like, it's one thing starting the game in a certain way, but how much is it on Arteta to change things, or even change things when there's no evident need to, in terms of trying to get the result for you?
Well, this is what I mean when I talk about his evolution. Because I think he's, in recent games, got his subs bang on. I think he's done really well with recognizing what's needed and when. I don't always agree or even understand, excuse me, his subs, if I'm being honest, but more often than not, he's got them right this season. So I think his need to, and this for me, this is where manager earns his money. This is where manager, for me, the good managers are separated from the brilliant ones. I think managers are judged primarily on what they do in game. You can do your tactics, you can do your training, you can pick your team. But for me, the great managers who separate themselves from the brilliant, from the very good ones, the ones that during a game can recognize what's going on and adjust accordingly. I'm a big Gareth Southgate fan. Well, no, that's not true. I'm not a big fan. But I don't think
Ben White would be happy with that.
Yeah, maybe not. But I defend Gareth Southgate because I think he gets a lot of heat for not winning a major when I think he's done a lot of other things which I think you could signify as success. However, even as defender of Southgate, acknowledge managers like him, Pochettino, who I also think is a very good manager. I think the difference between those guys and Jose, those guys and Conte, those guys and Klopp is during the game, they can spot what's going on and adjust accordingly. And that's what separates a very good manager, Pochettino, to a world-class manager in Antonio Conte, for example. So I think Arteta's got a chance to show that he can make that leap from being a very good manager that can get a team top four, even in a title race, to know, actually, I can out Pep. I can show you that in a game, I can recognize what's going on and adjust accordingly. So I think it's a good question to ask, because at some point he will be needed. He'll be expected to do something that makes an impact. Now, whether that happens or not, you rely on your players to execute. But at least show me that you made that sub and recognize, oh, we're light in midfield. Let's go 3 in midfield. Let's go 3 in midfield now. Take off that guy. Whatever it needs to be.
You're right.
The other thing as well, what I want to mention about Arteta as well, DG, is people talk a lot about the Etihad being a library, and there's no atmosphere there, which in some parts is true. Some parts is true.
It's not the noisiest ground, but I think it's very harsh for people.
It's a little bit harsh, and let me tell you why. Because I've also been there for games where the game can turn very quickly. And when those City fans are up, especially if they're losing, and there's wave after wave after wave of attack, and there may be a couple of goals in that wave, the manager, Guardiola, does this thing whereby he starts going into histrionics, he starts ramping the crowd up, he starts pushing the boundaries of what he can do. It's mind games. And then what I've noticed Arteta has done previously with a lot of the top managers, he gets drawn in. And when you get drawn in, you're not focusing on the game. You're getting drawn out. Really? And it's all part of the game of taking you off. He's done it at Anfield a couple of times. He did it against it wasn't Conte.
I'm sure Jurgen Klopp is you said Anfield. There's been a couple of times, really. Our manager's very passionate. You've seen it indirectly against Villa, and there's definitely another guy. There's definitely another time he's done that. Definitely.
It's very passionate, and I don't mind that. I don't mind it personally, but he has to be able to distinguish between being passionate and being for his team and being focused. Because at times it's very easy to lose focus at the Etihad when the crowd are up and it's wave after wave of attack. Guardiola's doing his madness, and you're drawn in to what's happening over there. When really, forget all that. Let the referee deal with that. You just got to focus on the game, and I just hope that he doesn't let himself get drawn out. Because I do think it's intentional. I think it's very intentional by Klopp and Guardiola to use the crowd and the advantage of being the home manager, of pushing the boundaries, of just getting too close to the the
Seeing
touchline,
how far you can take
holding
everything.
onto the ball longer than you're supposed to for a throw. All them little things are not by mistake.
No, they're on
things
purpose. You're seeing how far you can get away with things.
Yeah, man. And he can't let himself get wound up. If it was the Emirates, you're the home manager. So then you get the start.
You can do the most, yeah.
You're in my man's gaff. So you got to recognize that you're playing by his rules, really.
Take your shoes off in his
don't
yard,
get
innit?
drawn.
Yeah. I think you're bang on. I want to go back to that kind of slightly. Yeah, could you, being devil's advocate, could you argue though, like obviously if we put ourselves in Arsenal's shoes and we assume, like you said, the crowd are going mad, Pep's doing the most, it's looking like it's a war versus a football match. If you're Ben White or Saka, because at some point you're going to be the nearest to Mikel Arteta, could you argue if you look over and you see Arteta's kind of indirectly playing that with you? While I agree with what you're saying, being devil's advocate, could that give you a boost then? Because a number of our players do sit there and say, we love the fact that he's kicking every touch with us and all those things.
Yes, but it's time and place. I think there's a time when you want to see your manager animated and passionate and with you as your leader, for sure. But there's a few times I've seen managers go there and just get drawn out and like, no, bro, you're not losing the game, but you're losing the game.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
It ain't happened yet, but you're getting dragged in. You don't even see what you're going into now. He's playing
Don't
4D
get drawn
chess.
in. So if I'm a player and I'm looking over the side, I just need to know my manager is focused on what we're doing. I don't need him to be having a beef with Guardiola. And I find it interesting because obviously they're brethren, right? They're good. They're good friends. It wouldn't surprise me from the weekend. It kicked off,
I mean, don't you remember when Kevin De Bruyne tried, like, obviously Arteta used to work there. Don't you remember when Kevin was pushing him and all these things? That once the game starts, no one knows each other again, man.
No, but I've never seen Guardiola and Arteta. Maybe because
they've never got into handbags indirectly. Yeah,
it wouldn't surprise me if that happens on Sunday.
They're gonna need to. You lot are not friends like that anymore because obviously it was more since Arteta's been here. It's more my little brother's doing his thing at Arsenal. He's cool. I like what he's did, and then he's like, raw, like he's actually doing a lot now. It's changing a lot. So I do think that, like, even sometimes with Pep, like games ago, I can't remember the game, but like we was playing in whatever game, they was playing in whatever game, and the journalist just asked him a question, and then he was like, yeah, we're not Arsenal, we can't kill you within the first 20 minutes. I was like, this guy is playing games because we're not involved in any of that. Like, it's scary. Like, if we do win, I want to ask you as well, how much of a statement is it? Is it one where we're defo winning the league, or is it one where we should be even more cautious?
Well, I think the biggest, I think, positive about going into a game against City at this point of the season is I don't think a defeat is terminal. I don't think a defeat is terminal. I do think a defeat makes it difficult for us to win the league. I think if we lose, we then go to third favourites, and I don't think we win the league. But it's not terminal in a way that previous years it's a case of, if you lose, you're done. You're definitely done. I don't think we're definitely done, but I think we're
need a lot of luck.
Likely done. You're gonna, because then if you lose on Sunday, especially if Liverpool win before us, you're then looking for City to drop 4 to 5 points, which is a big ask. And then you have to win, and then you got to win 9 games. You've got to win 9 games on the bounce. That's tricky. So I don't think a defeat is terminal. But what I would say is I think if we win the game, I think we then become the league favourites. I think if we win the game, I think we win the league. I think we do. But having said that, and this again might come back to bite my backside. I've had this feeling for a few weeks, DG. I've got a funny feeling the Spurs game will be the more probable, will be the problem game. I think that'll be the game.
Can you mention that? Because you look at the amount of games we have to play in that time and the amount of rest Spurs get, and obviously Spurs would love to spoil our day. That's what I was also going to ask you as well. Like, even if we beat City, we've got some tough games. I know it sounds cliche, but on paper, we've got 12 cup finals. We obviously got the 2 games against Munich and 10 in the Prem. So it's like, do we really... It's not that I don't believe we can win these games because Arteta's given me every reason to be confident. But as Arteta said, we've got one of the thinnest squads. We've got to go to Old Trafford. We've got to go to Spurs. We've got to play City. We've got to welcome Chelsea. We've got Emre. And I still have in the back of my mind, I know it's a new look Arsenal, but we could win these games or draw or get respectable results. It's the Luton on midweek, for example. It's these kind. Even to be honest with you, that's been our Achilles heel this season because against the top 6, we've been all right.
DG, I'm so glad you said that because this is the reason why. And again, on Forever, I made the point. Everyone's talking about they've done 2 shows on AFTV, and I said to them, "Well, don't not do them. Do what you want." But I don't agree with them. They've done these shows where they do like, right, Another platform's done it too. Let's map out the next 10 games. Right. Win there.
Unless you got a crystal ball, it's crazy.
I just think at this point, I think those sorts of games are more understandable at the start of the season. But at this point, with the pressures on, what's a hard game?
Yeah, all of them. Everyone's fighting for something.
What is Luton at home on paper is an easy game. Of course, it's an Arsenal win.
But football's a crazy one. Football's not one on paper.
70 minutes gone and it's 0-0.
Yeah, and the last game against Luton wasn't straightforward. It was great because we won, and we shouldn't be playing like that, but it was difficult.
So
they're fighting for their lives.
So I think whatever happens on Sunday afterwards, I mean, I think we're going to win the title, but that's not because I think every game will be a wrap. I just think the confidence and the belief the squad will have, and hopefully will pierce a bit of their confidence, City's confidence. I think that will take us all the way. But you're right. I can see us beating City and then drawing at home to Luton.
This is the thing.
That wouldn't stun me.
This is the
thing. That would
thing.
not stun me. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think we should be arrogant enough to think that this is the game that seals the title, because we've got to go to Old Toilet. They're gonna want nothing more. That's second to last game of the season, DJ.
Because they ain't got nothing else. Yeah, they ain't got nothing else to play for, really.
You think they want us to rock up at their ground and lift the title again?
Yeah. Again. Shades of my primary school days.
Chelsea are dead food. They will be playing. Listen, they will be up for that game.
They'll be out the top 4 race by then as well.
So I don't think it'll be easy, and you got the Bayern game in there as well. But I think this comes down to management. Arteta's got to now manage, because you're right. There's not a lot of weeks left. There's a lot of games in there, so we're playing every 3 or 4 days.
Oh, it's crazy.
It's mad. So it's about management now. We've got players coming back into the squad. Partey's training. Tomiyasu's training. I think the only person that's not in the full squad is Timber, but even
he's soon back as well.
Yeah. So we're going to need to use Partey. We're going to need to use Reece Nelson. These players will get used, because if we're playing every 3 days, and they're not like little games, and these are pressurized games.
Every game matters, as you just said. There's no easy games. We're done with that now. Every
game is a must win. So I think whether we win or lose, I think what the reaction to the win or loss, as you flag, is equally as important.
No, that's facts, man. And you've kind of tied into what you just said with what I wanted to ask you. Obviously, you've mentioned Mikel Arteta needs to manage. Arteta's previously said we've got one of the finished squads. Now, I believe it's a catch-22, because I think the team's kind of picking itself because of results. But the team I want to start on Sunday, after the game, I might say Arteta should have done this, that, and the other. Hindsight's amazing.
You definitely will.
Exactly 100%. How much of a point do you think rotation is now? And would you make any changes for City? Because some would argue Kirill maybe comes out for Tommy. Gabriel Jesus is a candidate. I'm not sure where you're at. Partey for Jorginho. I don't know.
So let's do it. So Rare in goal for me. White, Saliba, Gabriel. If he is even 80% fit, I would put Tomiyasu at left back. I'd bring him in at left back. Kivio's done really, really well.
Yeah, very well, man.
Really well. I'm just not sure if this is the game you want to have him in a position that could have him exposed. And I know the counter is, but Tomiyasu, do you want to throw him back in for his first game against City? What I'd be saying is, if he's 80% fit, I'd be saying, Tommy, give me an hour. Give me an hour.
We said earlier, you can do changes and all these things.
Just give me if you can give me an hour, I'm taking you off. You can't play a full game. Give me an hour. And the irony is that I think that the most important part, one part I didn't mention when I answered your question, I know about where the game won and lost. I think the most important part of our team is fullbacks. I think the fullbacks are going to have such a hard job. You've got to know when to tuck in. You've got to know when to get high and be an outlet.
Yeah.
And our fullbacks are quite fit. Well, Tomiyasu won't be match fit, but I would probably, if he's 80% fit, I would try and get an hour out of him. I just think if I flip it, and if I'm Foden or Silva on that side, on their right side, our left side, and I'm seeing Kivior there,
probably fancy him a bit more than Tommy.
Yeah, I'm licking my lips a little bit if I'm Foden and I see Kivior as the left back there. So I'd probably go with Tomiyasu in the middle.
Let's say Zinchenko versus Kivior. Let's make it interesting. One's in form, one's been here, done that, kind of wore the t-shirt for all his cons. He does have a lot of pros. It's a difficult one. Because I'm actually going to start Kyrgios, you know. I'm with you. I would start Tomiyasu, but I just feel sometimes you just got to trust players, isn't it? So I was like, you know what, Kyrgios, your spot to lose.
I think I'm with you, you know. I don't think I put Zinchenko in. I'm not a massive Zinchenko fan anyway. So I probably would go with the form guy over the guy that actually is a left back. I just don't rate him that highly. So I'd probably go Kvyat as well, yeah. In midfield, I'd go Rice, Odegaard, and
you got Thomas Partey, you got Jorginho. I'm going to lean towards Jorginho, you know. On paper, Thomas Partey, but I don't know for the fitness. And then, like, I must admit, I don't want too much changes, if I'm honest with you. Like, for me, it's either if Kyrgios not playing, then Georgie has to start. And I'm just wary of that left-hand side, man. Now, it's a squad game, you're professional footballers, but I'm nervous, you know. On paper, like I said, Rice, Partey, you lot are the guys. But Jorginho tends to do better in these kind of chess matches.
You know what? Anyone that knows me knows that Jorginho's my guy. I was one of the few people that we signed him. I was happy about it.
Yeah, he got slandered when he signed for us.
He got battered, and I was like, hang on a minute. Jorginho's a victim of what I call football snobbery. Because he's not fast, because he's not skillful step overs.
Chelsea reject and all that.
Yeah. So Jorginho is probably still, I have to think about it some more, but Jorginho is probably still the best deep lying playmaker in the country.
I mean, at his unique role, he's up there 100%.
And in Europe, so people just because he's slow and got no legs, people just so Jorginho's my guy. I want to put
like
that
he's 80 years old and that,
like,
man.
He's the guy that I've ridden for. But the reason why, and again, similar to Tommy, if you can give me 80% in an hour, I would go with Partey, is just because I think the athleticism that Partey gives as a two-man, I'd go with 2-6, but giving Rice the freedom to get box to box.
You do the dynamic thing, yeah.
Yeah, and just say, Partey, you screen.
Just protect us. Just protect us.
That would probably be what I would err towards. I mean, what you lose in legs with Jorginho, I think you gain in ball retention, but I don't think we'll have a lot of the ball. So
we're going to have to suffer. It won't be like the recent games we've been playing. This, in my opinion, this will kind of be like a sobering reminder that we don't just turn up and as great as we are, we're not just going to blow every team out of the water. And I think in many ways, Brentford was kind of like that. But yeah, I'm doubtful about a clean sheet and all of that. I just want to leave with something personally. I'm with you with that, to be honest with you. Partey is the difficult one. I do think, though, and I'm not questioning Partey's mentality. I just look back to City last season. I think the major difference between them, I do think for his quality, Partey drops his head a lot. And I don't see that with Jorginho. It's like you would think he's one of the kids as well, if I'm honest.
Fair. That's fair.
I don't know.
That is fair. Yeah. And Partey wouldn't be a bad guy to bring on for the last 20 minutes.
Like last time.
I mean? Exactly. So I wouldn't be pissed if Jorginho started. I just don't think we're going to have a lot of the ball. So
that's where I'm with you with the Partey shout, man.
Yeah, I think you need legs. I think
same.
And just to finish my team, and so I'd probably lean towards Partey, but I wouldn't be pissed with Jorginho. I mean, before we get to the front line, here's a wild card. El Nene.
Nah. I hear the angle, but nah. Uncle, and then they keep doing your thing. Nah. There's a 10 minutes for you. Nah. I hear the angle, but nah.
You know why I say El Nene? Or what?
Nah.
You might need, because the thing that I think beats City more than tactics, skill, personnel, work rate. You have to outwork City.
And El Nene does have that.
The teams that do well against City, you have to match their work rate. You have to.
That's true.
Liverpool's blueprint the other day was that they matched City's work rate, and then
when turned up the pressure cooker.
Once you break their work ethic, then you can play ball. Now, okay,
that's
Liverpool are at home, so it's a bit different, but they're bare man out. So the reason why I propose El Nene is I wouldn't start El Nene, but I'm thinking from an angle of a dog. I call him a dog. You need a dog for an hour. Just chase the ball. Chase that ball.
Do you know what? If it's at that angle, I'm not as against it as the initial name when it was thrown out. I hear the angle now. I hear it.
No,
but I just said, like,
goal, DG. Come on, man. I'm just saying, like, break up play.
Just work hard, but just put in some work in the middle. Like, just give everything you got.
Yeah, but no, okay, that's just a kind of a wild card. And my front three
No,
would
but
be
you're right, because he could, like you said, like in your theme with just give me an hour of things, and going back to Arteta about the bench, someone like El Nene might be needed to close out the game or allow Jorginho or Rice to stay further up the field. So I don't think you're wrong. Like, it's a squad game, and I personally feel this season, this part of the season, now Arteta's got to trust people. Now you got to use people. Now you've got to be even cuter and clever. But yeah, man, finish off your team, man. We had
and the
what
front
we've got.
three, I'd go
Rice.
yeah, I'd go
Odegaard, I
Partey,
assume.
Rice, Odegaard. I'd go Saka. I would go Kai Havertz for the reasons that I gave earlier
Same.
on. And on the left, I would go Martinelli if he's fit. I'm hearing that he's not fit. And I don't think if he's the sort of person that if he's not match fit, he gives you nothing.
Yeah, you're on the bench.
Some players you can say, give me an hour at 70, 80%.
He's like a passenger.
Tomiyasu, Partey. I think they can start at 80% fit. I don't think Martinelli can, especially if, yeah. So it'd be good because I think he's the one player that can test Walker, and let's test that hamstring. Let's see how fit.
Let's see if you do dare to play after everything the manager's been saying. Yeah, and let's assume you're off soon.
And Martinelli's not my favorite guy. He's not my favorite guy. I rate him, but I know the Arsenal fans like he's their guy. I'm not sold on him completely yet. But the one thing I will say about, or two things, is one, he's our best outlet. He's our best outlet because we will be under the cosh. And I think of all of our players, he's the one you want that can bring the ball up the field. 40,
he's kind of fearless like that,
even over the top. And second of all, to his credit, I think he was the only player in our team, but definitely in our attack last season at this point that stood up. When Odegaard fell off, when Saka fell off, when all the other attackers fell off, he was the only one that I think really wasn't inhibited by the title run in. So I'll give him his props for that. So he's not a pussy, is what I'm saying, basically. You know what I mean?
No, you're bang on, because I think he's shown that from the jump, man. That's one thing I like about Martinelli. I like it. I love Martinelli, but he's incredibly frustrating in many aspects and almost a bit raw. But the man is quite fearless. What, you're not starting Jesus? Because I can't lie, I'm tempted. Not up front, but off that left. Why?
Well, I was some of the if Martinelli's not fit, I'm bringing Jesus in. Off the left, I think it could be a problem. He's not up top, no.
No, I think Havertz has got to be used because I feel I don't care how Havertz has to play. I would not start him in midfield, but you need to play up front. I need you to drop into midfield. I need you to start counter attacks. I need you to be a focal point. Havertz has to play. I did not think I'd ever say this in August, but Havertz has to play against City for me.
He does. And you know why he plays well? I don't know if I can curse. Sorry, on your.
You can, man. Come on, it's YouTube. Go ahead.
He's a prick. He's a bit of a prick.
Yeah, he's one of those guys you hate playing against, and you love them in your team.
Yeah, man. He's a bit nasty. And I think he causes problems. I think he pisses defenders off.
He's him and Benjamin White are on that. Like, they're just annoying.
Yeah, man. They're on crud. So I think you need a bit of that because they will do it. They the dark heart. They will do it.
So Rodri is going to be the villain. We already know that. That's one thing me and you can predict. Rodri is going to pee everybody off.
You know the thing already. So I think we need a guy that could just be a bit of a prick. And I think although his finishing isn't particularly good, as I mentioned, I think everything else that he brings is worth it. Jesus in front of goal. He's a brilliant player.
Yeah.
I just think in this game,
it's a joke in front of goal, really.
Childish.
It's a joke in front of goal. It's childish for all his ability. Gabriel is very childish in front of goal. And it's weird that our actual strikers are not the most clinical. Like, that's why I find this whole title challenge thing crazy, and I have to big up Arteta more because they're not the bagsmen. It's weird.
They're not. And I think in a game where, as I mentioned, you won't get a lot of chances. I just don't trust him. Do you remember the 2-2 at Tottenham at the end of the season? That chance still haunts me.
That first 10, 20 minutes.
And at Chelsea last season, he missed a sitter as well. And I don't know why. I don't want to pick on him, but I just think in those key moments where you're like, bro, you got to bury that.
Just come on, you're a professional footballer, man.
He will and does. So, and also, again, off the bench, 20 minutes, you bring on that energy and that kind of just... Say Jesus,
and he's been like a cage beast as well because he's been on the bench. He ain't returned to the starting lineup. He's been fit for a minute now.
There you go. So I don't think it's the worst sub to bring on either. So no, it would be Martinelli for me. But if Martinelli can't start, then Jesus off the left, definite option. Yeah.
I've got two last questions for you. The first one would be, I don't think it's something that's attributed with Arsenal internally, but with I'm sure you've asked the questions on it before. Like, obviously, a lot of us Arsenal fans, some prefer to set the race, being top of the league, some prefer to be a chasing pack. Where are you at with all of that? Because me personally, I don't think it's really relevant like that. The players know where they're at, but they're not thinking about that. And if you want to be in a title challenge, it's always going to fluctuate. Like you kind of said earlier, like at the end of 2023, it was all over. Before that, it was plain sailing. We've put some wins on the board. We're back where we need to be, and who knows after Sunday and any other game left. But where are you at with that?
Well, I think it's interesting that the observation has been made a few months ago that Arsenal are potentially better chasers than they are being chased. When the pressure's on, spotlight's on, when you're the team to be beaten, Arsenal don't know how to deal with that pressure, and there's probably some truth in that. But I do, and look, is it relevant whether you come from behind or top? I don't know, but one thing disappointing to me is that to win a title, at some point you're going to have to be on top, and we're on top now.
Yeah.
You've got to deal with the pressure. So if you're a team that you can't, I don't think you can say
there's no shining from it.
Yeah, I think there's a team that maybe says, and they've not said this, but the implication is we would rather hunt a team down and win the league. That doesn't really happen. How many teams do you see winning the title from behind? It's normally a team
last year, unfortunately, but yeah, typically,
a team asserts themselves and they're like, right, we're gonna just see this out. And I think if you want to win titles, actually, you've got to be able to do that. And you can't fall back on the whole, oh yeah, but we're better chasing than no. At some point, you've got to deal with the pressure. Yeah, right now is that moment, and maybe we've timed it right. Maybe we've kind of in the background for the last 10 games. We've timed our run perfectly. Now, if we beat City, we'll pull away. Who knows? Like in a race, like in the back, in the pack. Now part of the pack. Now part of the pack.
It's almost like Usain Bolt when he starts slow and then he's off.
Yes, man. Madness. And now in my head, you can't catch me. So maybe we've timed it perfectly, which again, credit to Arteta. But I do feel at some point you have to be the team that accepts that you're top of the league. Now, can you handle it? City, we've seen they can handle it. Liverpool, we've seen they can handle it. Chelsea. We've seen even us.
Yeah, many moons ago, but yeah,
been that team. Yeah, not for a long time, but we've been that team. So it's irrelevant in the sense that it doesn't really matter. At some point,
everyone's got to play all the games, anyways.
Yeah, so I'd rather be top. And then see if my team can handle the pressure rather than the team that's second. Because when you're second, you're reacting. You're reacting to the team that's above. Did they drop points? Can we catch it? Whereas if you're top, but if we win, it doesn't really matter what you do.
Do your job, nothing else matters. Yeah. Fact. And that brings me to the last one, because I think the last 2 seasons have been amazing. But obviously, football's a results business. The winner wins, the losers explain. And I know some Arsenal fans are very simplistic in that, either Arteta wins this or he's the guy, he doesn't. But if we don't win the league, considering the last 2 years, where would your thoughts be at with Arteta and our project?
I'm happy. I mean, it depends on how the season finishes. And me and my cousin have a big discussion all the time about he's got to win it. So what? How long do you give him? If he doesn't win it, no, you're letting him off. And I'm like, no, it's not as binary as if we don't win the league, he should go. If we win it, he's great. No. If we don't win the league, like, okay, if we finish third and we lose all our games from here on in and we collapse and finish third by 15 points, there's questions. I have big questions.
That'll be a serious fall. That'll be worse than last year.
Yeah, I have big questions about can you get us over the line when it really matters. You finish third by a point, which could happen. That could happen.
That's what people forget. Anything could happen.
That could happen. Then no, I'm not going to batter you for that. Just because we're top. Just this idea that, oh, last year you were top, so you got to win it. Well, no. People conveniently forget that when we were top by 11 points, City had 3 games in hand. People forget that part.
You're right about that.
People conveniently forget that bit. They had 3 games in hand. Yeah, but you were 11 points clear. Yeah, but we were anyway.
And then it cuts to 2, and then obviously the experience and the contrast between the 2 teams made the difference. That being said, I do think we had it in our hands and bottled it. But it's like what you said at the start. It's like sometimes the best experience can be, learning from yourself. And I hope being burnt last year makes us do this, bro.
Look at how many teams, and I use this analogy often, look at how many teams in the Championship lose playoff finals at Wembley. And the next year, within 2 years, they're back. They're in the Premier
League, really.
Yeah, sometimes you got to go through that pain a year or two before you get to the. Look at United in Europe in the Champions League. How many times did Ferguson get to quarters and semis and lose before 99? Chelsea.
Exactly.
How many mad knockouts before 2012 they won it in Bayern? You got to go through pain sometimes before you get to the big thing. So this idea that if we don't win the title, oh, he's a fraud, he's crap. It's like, well, there's nuance to it. Let's look at how he lost the league. Let's look at how he won the league. Was it a bit fluky, or was he a bit so I can't really answer that until the season's done, and then we can look back and we'll be like, you know what? In that Luton game, in that Chelsea game, in that United game, yeah, he made some mad decisions. He lost his head, and then we can pan him and evaluate. But right now, I'm happy with him. He's doing a good job. All I've asked for was to be competitive. Give me good football and be competitive. And if you do the right things and knock on the door long enough, we'll win the title. Whether it's this year, next year, or the year after. Just keep us competitive and give me good football, and you can stay.
I think you're bang on the money, man. I think personally, if we don't win this league, of course, the last 10 games will fit the narrative and we'll all go back and look back as to what happened. But for me, it would be the 2 games against Fulham. It'd definitely be the December period, because it's not going to make sense. And I'm not saying we're the biggest and baddest in the league, but I think when we have dropped points, we've not been outplayed necessarily. We've kind of engineered our own mistakes. And that is a negative, but also a positive, because it means we can fix this internally. For me, I would go again with Arteta. And as you said, unless there's a madness, I'm keeping the guy, because I think the pros outweigh the cons. That being said, he's not a Wenger, he's not Sir Alex Ferguson. He hasn't earned that blind loyalty to a degree from myself. But everyone's allowed their opinion in it. But I can't lie, I don't really understand wanting the guy sacked. I'm not backing him religiously, but I think it does not make sense. If you could present me with someone that is like Arteta, fits the model and can get us over the line, then the game's the game. Thank you very much, Arteta. It is. But last time I checked and I looked left and right, there isn't that. So it is what it is. I know I said last question, but proper last one. What's your predictions then? I'm going to go 2-1 Arsenal, man. We have to, man. You're making me think that I just need to do the positive thing now, man. I need to believe, because I don't really believe. I need to believe, man. I'm going 2-1. I'll take a point, 100%.
So I'm on forever. I said I'm going to do something that I've never done before, I don't think, and probably would never ever do again. And I'm going to make a prediction with my heart and not my head. I'm not those kind of people that are biased and we're going to win every game. I've predicted many a cup final with Arsenal a defeat, and we've won it. So I'm balanced. I'm fair. I'm an Arsenal fan. I want us to win. But if I evaluate everything and my conclusion is I think we'll lose, it's not me putting out bad energy. It's just my prediction that I think we're going to win.
Lie to the people.
There you go. So I'm gonna go with my heart for once. I'm gonna go with my heart, Deluded. You got me gassed. I'm going for a 3-2 Arsenal win.
I ain't got the heart for 5 goals, man. I ain't got the heart for this. This is crazy. I don't want to see no comebacks, no nothing. Like
2-0 down, 3-2 win. But what I will say finally though, I think is important, and I do say this for every big game, and I would say it as well, is I think the start is important. So for me, and this is my mantra for life, start well. So even when you wake up in the morning, your day may end shit. Your day may end really badly.
Facts.
But at least start it well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I'm doing a broadcast on television, I'm doing a live outside Wembley or the Emirates, and it's a 2-minute live for the news. All right, I've got to talk about this. Okay, start the live well. Because if you start poorly, you start stumbling and you're stuttering and you're scrambled and your whole 2 minutes gets messed up. You may end messy, but at least start well.
At least you started well.
Same in football. Get through I don't want to see 20 minutes for 2-0 down. Yeah, them days have to be gone.
They have to be eradicated if you want to be serious.
Game well. Start the game well. Be competitive, work hard, look after the ball. Get your kicking on point, win your first
individual battles, man.
Win your second balls. Yeah, that first 20 minutes, set the tone. We are here to be champions. We're not here to just mix it up. We're letting you know this is not a we're not a little man no more.
We've changed.
We've changed, and that I think they will feel that if we start right. Don't grow into the game. Start the game as you mean to go on.
And I think you're right, man, because I think in contrast, Pep is going to be saying that and saying, listen, I don't want to lose twice to these boys 3 times in all comps. Let's go out there and do the thing. I will be watching the last 10, though, because that seems to be where the games are won and lost, like at the Emirates. So
But
we're gonna have to
Deluded,
see, man.
My thing is get to the last 10.
True, no, I'm with you with that. Yeah. Be in with a shout, bro.
You're 4-0 down. The last 10 don't matter.
Yeah, the last 10 don't matter. You might as well give some kids some debuts and that. No, it fully doesn't matter. But that's where I want to see us stand up to be counted. And that's where I want to see Martinelli, because I don't think he's had the greatest of seasons. But you look at the Liverpools and the Cities, arguably two of our results. That's where he's come into it, really. And to be honest with you, I don't care if you're respectfully someone like Kirill, who's on the peripheral, you're Saka, you're all in this team for a reason. You're all here. Stand up to be counted, and let's keep it moving, man. So Jordan, I hope when we next speak or when the game's done, we're happy, bro. But I appreciate the preview, man. Let people know where they can find you. Oh man, let people know they can find you, man, before I let you get out of it.
Man, I'm on Insta, Jordan Jarrett-Bryan. I've got a couple new podcasts that I direct people to. I've got a football sports podcast called Not for Clicks. Go check it out. It's on YouTube. It's on all your podcast platforms. And I've got another podcast which is also sport, but it's also politics and arts and culture, called Whisper It Loudly as well. Again, on YouTube and on all your podcast platforms. Not for Clicks and Whisper It Loudly.
Again, people, by the time you lot are seeing this, all of the podcasts will be in the description. So make sure you check it out and show a former Gooner some love. Let us know your thoughts. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have agreed and disagreed with what we said. I'm going to let Jordan get out of here. I'm going to let you lot get out of here. You lot stay safe, stay blessed. Peace, everyone, man. One love.
Peace.
Come on.
There's always just that attitude when defending. I think it's like